Te reo ererangi o Te Mānia. This episode was produced in Otatahi by Plains Media, with support from New Zealand On Air.
Kia ora and welcome to Emergence News. My name is Nigel and I'll introduce you to the other members in the studio in just a moment. Back in September 1977, the first public message from Maitreya was given at Friend's house in London. Using mental overshadowing and spiritual telepathy in public, Benjamin Creme delivered message number 1 to a public audience. Benjamin Creme says no trance or mediumship was involved. The voice was his, strengthened in power and altered in pitch by the overshadowing energy of Maitreya. Through these 140 recordings, the communications that Maitreya delivered suggests the lines that social change must take. He gives hints on how to recognise him. He also describes himself in abstract terms as the embodiment of divine qualities. So on today's program, we're going to look at one of those messages, message number 74, and we are going to read out several excerpts from that message and attempt to elaborate on the meaning and provide our interpretation of these wise words as we negotiate the higher tension that exists in this year, 2026. So before we do that, I'd like to introduce Shafia and Peter to the studio. Good morning, Shafia.
Good morning. How are you?
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Lovely to see you again.
Thank you.
And how's life in Christchurch? You're heading back to the UK soon, aren't you?
Yeah, and Wednesday week, yes.
And you've been catching up with family here in Christchurch?
Family and friends, yeah.
Yeah, I mention that because a member of your family is in the studio with us.
She is, yes, my little granddaughter, Athena.
Welcome, Athena. It's wonderful to have you in the studio. Do you think perhaps there could be a interest in the media?
Well, you never know. Sowing seeds here, aren't we?
Yes, we certainly are. And also in the studio, the stalwart of our program. Well, in fact, you were both co-founders, weren't you?
Yes.
Because the genesis of this program was you, Shafia. It was your idea, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Me pushing it.
Now, how did you come to approach Peter and John and Vicky initially? Did you have any idea that Peter had already been on air on the station for about 20 years?
No, I didn't. No, not at all.
So there's that wealth of experience.
Yes.
And then John, of course, had a history in the media through television.
Yes, that's right.
Yes,
yeah.
But you had no idea.
No.
So you had some qualified people.
That's right.
In the meditation group.
Yes, it was great. It was just sort of one of those things, I'm sure, prompted, by whatever prompts you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peter, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Nigel.
And do you remember Shafia suggesting this idea?
Oh, yes, I do. It's quite clear that we did talk about it, and I said I'd been involved with the radio station. We had a good fit.
Yes, we did.
Well, absolutely. It must be a good fit because we're still going.
Is it 13 years now?
Yeah, it's about 12 years now.
Yeah.
I know we've been active on Apple Podcasts since 2015, and the radio program began before that. So let's say it's 2014.
Yeah.
So we're looking at about 12 years so far.
Yeah.
And I guess you wouldn't have thought it would still be going.
No, we would have thought that Maitreya would be here by now, but there we go. We're waiting patiently.
Yes, well, perhaps humanity isn't quite ready yet.
Yeah.
Would that be your take on it, Peter?
Yes, I think so. I think we need a bit more chaos, perhaps, before it happens. It just seems to me that we're at the great depth of chaos in the world, but we do know that change needs to happen, and then he will come forth.
So what you're saying, this is interesting. So what you're saying is that the disintegration of democracy, for example, needs to happen because we've got so many structures, our economic and political structures are so ingrained in our systems, our political systems, that we almost need to start with a clean slate, restart.
Well, that's right. I think the corruption is
so widespread.
It has reached an epitome, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're at a tipping point, I think, especially this next year. And I don't know how much further we can go before things need to change. But
you don't know how much further we can descend.
Yes.
This is Emergence News, and we welcome your company. Today we're looking on the program at Maitreya's message number 74. And originally this message was delivered by Maitreya through Benjamin Creme, through the process of overshadowing and telepathy, spiritual telepathy. And this was back in July 1979. And as Peter reads through this message, you'll notice just how timeless these words are. The messages are as applicable in 1979. They're just as applicable today, aren't they? All right, Peter.
Thank you, Nigel. Message number 74. The time has come to begin the process of change, to transform the life of men in such a way that God in man shines forth. This, my friend, is not difficult to accomplish, for within you all sits a divine being. My task will be to evoke from you that shining light and take you to the source.
I'm just looking at you. Thank you, Peter. Just looking at you here, Shafir. Evoke in us that divine source. What does he mean by that?
Well, all of us are spiritual beings and having a human experience, and it's getting in touch with that sort of shining light of the soul that's within each of every one of us, and also recognizing it in each other, I think, and sort of always seeing beyond the human. And
that's a really good point, because not everybody recognizes that they're a divine being, do they, Peter?
No, well, this is quite true. I mean, most people think they're a physical body, and
that's it,
and that's who they are. But there is many dimensions beyond that,
such as
our higher being, and our higher being has basically insisted on us taking a physical body, if you like, and being here and changing the world for the better.
So we're here to develop, to grow spiritually.
That's right.
And also to transform matter into spirit. That's one of our roles, I think, that the evolutionary process will take us to, where we become spiritualized within a human body.
In many of these messages, Maitreya talks about the divine plan, the plan. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're talking about there, this spiritualizing matter?
Yes.
It's the big picture, isn't it?
Yes, it is the big picture, yeah. And also to understand ourselves better through working with our forgetfulness in the human body, and sort of we have to really take it, gain knowledge from it, from our experience here. And so it's sort of like a working out of our spirit through our matter,
So we're educating ourselves. Each lifetime is really like entering a new classroom.
Yes.
That's right.
That's what I think.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
Well, we've had thousands of lifetimes in a physical body, and it's only just now that we're realising that our mind is well beyond our brain. Each lifetime we get a new brain, of course, but the spiritual reality goes on, doesn't it? It's a continuous path.
It does, yes.
Yeah. Once again, there's just so much you're saying here, which for a first-time listener would be saying, "Oh, could just put the handbrake on there for a moment." You just said we've been here thousands of times. So the law of rebirth means that we keep coming back and hopefully making progress in each lifetime.
That's correct, yes, indeed.
And you mentioned the physical brain. So we get a new physical brain in each lifetime. That's the physical equipment. That's part of the physical equipment.
That's right. And, of course, that is why we don't actually remember our past lives, because it's not part of our conscious brain. And, therefore, it's probably a good thing. If we knew all the things that we've done wrong, perhaps in other lives, it would hold us back. It would not give us a clean start. And so the physical brain is gradually opens up to the mind, which is part of the soul.
Okay, so I don't want to go into too much depth about the rays, but just to give people a hint of what you're talking about, you have talked about on a previous program that in this lifetime you have a Ray 7 physical body.
Correct.
Therefore, a Ray 7 brain.
Yes.
But not everybody has got a physical body with a Ray 7. There are different rays with different streams of energy.
That's right. Yes, indeed. Of course, the physical is normally on an uneven ray. There are very few on the even ray. But so most people have either Ray 3 or a Ray 7 body. There's exceptions to every rule, of course, but basically you can say humanity is either Ray 3 or Ray 7 physical.
There are 7 rays of energy, and if that subject interests you, if you are scientifically inclined, we would suggest reading Alice Bailey or Benjamin Creme. They write on the subjects of the 7 rays, don't
That's
they?
right. I mean, Psychology 1 and Psychology 2, great in depth with regard to the ray structure.
How does it mean to be a divine being? So we've talked a bit about that, Shafir, but if people want examples of how we get in touch with that divine being, what would you employ or recommend? Meditation?
Meditation, definitely, is one way. But, it's interesting because I was talking to a friend the other day and I was just saying that sometimes all you just have to be is yourself, and there are people that you meet in your life who shine forth and somehow lift your spirits, and you experience this every day, and I think sometimes that's all we need to be, really. It's just somebody who shines light out and lifts people as they go along through their day. It doesn't have to be very complicated. It just has to be something that you remember who you are and, remember that you can give love and light wherever you go,
So when we hear a spiritual teacher or a wise person talk about the word gratitude, that would assist you in that process. If you were more grateful for what you actually have in your life.
Yes.
But actually have a look at what you do have.
Yeah.
And be grateful and increasingly exhibit that gratitude, you are going to shine more light.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Gratitude is one of the wonderful ways to get in touch with that.
We'll be back with more from message number 74 from the great spiritual teacher Maitreya, and that's coming up with Peter in just a moment. You are listening to Emergence News. You can find us on Substack, emergencenews.substack.com, or you can also find us at Plains Media, which is a radio station located in Christchurch, New Zealand, where we live stream and we are available as a podcast on plains.org.nz. Today we are focused on one of the messages, message number 74, delivered by Maitreya back in 1979 through the assistance of Benjamin Creme, who is an author that we refer to on this program frequently. And Peter, you've got another interesting excerpt from this message.
Yes, just a sentence here that will evolve into a discussion, and it's direct from Maitreya. My masters work also in their various centres, and through them proceeds the plan.
There goes that word again, the plan,
The
Shafir.
plan, yes,
Yeah.
the evolutionary plan.
The evolutionary plan. What would you say if somebody said to you, what's the evolutionary plan? What's that, Peter?
Well, basically, God has a concept, obviously, of his planet, if you like, and what he wants to achieve in that planet. And basically, as Shafir mentioned, he talks about uplifting matter. And basically, it is a process of spiritualizing matter, isn't it? And of course, we are part of the matter, our physical bodies, our physical being, but we are also a divine being. And so this is our part in the plan.
It's interesting, spiritualizing matter. I had a look at a definition of what that actually means, and it says the intersection of divine will and human free choices.
It requires our input to do it because we are an aspect of God.
We are an aspect of God, and we're actually quite critical, aren't we? Because we're right between the lower kingdoms and the kingdom of God.
That's right. We're the filling in the sandwich, aren't we?
Yes.
And we're not doing a very good job.
Well, we don't think we are because of what's going on in the world, but actually there's a huge amount of nobility and love and kindness in the world that we don't really hear about, unfortunately, but that's what we try and do on this program, isn't it? To bring those stories to you because, there is such an amazing part of humanity that is really showing its divine spirit, I think.
That's a really good point, Shafir. We have talked previously on this program about the stages of initiation.
Yes.
And that's what you're alluding to there, because we have on this planet a number of individuals who are ahead of us, and ahead of me. I can't talk for others. I have no right to, actually. Are ahead of me on the spiritual evolution.
Yeah.
For example, 2nd degree, 3rd degree, and 4th degree initiates.
Yes.
If we've got a 5th degree initiate on Earth, they are a walking self-realized master.
Yes, they are.
So when you're talking about those special individuals, a 4th degree initiate, for example, we'll work our way back here. Peter, a 4th degree initiate is 3/4 light, aren't they?
Oh, man, they're just about there. Madame Blavatsky, of course, was a 4th degree initiate, I imagine, at the end of her life.
Yes.
But what a huge contribution she made, bringing through the secret doctrine and Isis Unveiled. And starting the Theosophical Society, which is a background to our teaching as well.
Mahatma Gandhi was 2-point-something, and look at what he achieved. And he wasn't anywhere near mastery, but he was, that light was shining through him, and he created a great movement of, peaceful resistance.
And that gives you an idea. A 2-degree initiate.
Yeah.
Had that kind of impact on our planet.
Yes.
So you can imagine what these 3rd degree and 4th degree initiates, they're remarkable. Krishnamurti was a 4th degree initiate.
Yeah.
Sri Chinmoy,
yes,
who visited New Zealand a number of times. He met David Longewin back in the 1980s, I remember.
Yes.
Go online and read about Sri Chinmoy. What a remarkable man.
Yes.
He was literally performing magic in front of our eyes. He was a weightlifter, he was an athlete, he was an artist, he was... There are restaurants all over the Western world, aren't there?
Yes, that's right.
We've got one here in Christchurch. In fact, I think we're considering going there for lunch today.
Yes. And we have to remember that humanity now stands on the brink of taking the first initiation, which means that we are on the path. The majority of humanity will be on the path of initiation. So we're really our consciousness is growing and into the divine plan.
And as we said on the last program, there are millions of individuals among humanity who are consciously and unconsciously purifying their physical body. They're going to the gym, they're running marathons, they're getting into athletics, they're going to the gym regularly.
Yes.
Taking up meditation or a form of meditation, learning about relaxation techniques, breathing exercises. Yoga has become a phenomenon.
Yes.
Pilates, they're all methods of purifying the system. Look at the interest in our diet now.
That's right. Yes, it's phenomenal, isn't it? people are finding ways of healing themselves through their diet, aren't they?
It's very exciting, isn't it?
Mm.
And when we hear of people talking about the golden age of Aquarius, that's where we're moving towards, where millions of people are improving themselves as an individual, elevating their stage of evolution.
Mm-hmm. And elevating all of us, as we do it together.
That's right, because one of the key themes of the age of Aquarius is synthesis, group work, and letting go. Because we're coming out of the age of individuality, aren't we? The age of Pisces.
That's right. Well, I mean, our soul is a group soul, and we're all part and parcel of that great oversoul, and so. That is the point that we are actually one at that point, aren't we?
Yes, and we feel as though we're separate, but we're not. And that's where we're having to grow our consciousness and to recognising that everything we do affects everybody else.
That's right. In fact, separatism is probably one of the greatest problems of our planet, I think.
Yeah.
And but realising that we are actually at heart, we are a brotherhood of souls and part of the same soul.
Mm-hmm.
And these messages that we're talking about, Maitreya reiterates that, doesn't he?
He does, yes.
The brotherhood.
Yes.
And to think of the needs of your brothers and sisters.
Yes. And the masters are stimulating this. That we've got masters in New York, in London, in Geneva, in Darjeeling, in Tokyo. So those are the 5 main centres where the masters are working at the moment.
So are those locations on the planet like chakras?
Yes, they are.
Energy centres.
Energy centres, yes. And there are other masters working as well. We've got the master
Moira, the Katumi, Rakoski.
Mm-hmm.
Rakoski, of course, is the 7th ray, and this is the Aquarian age, and this is the 7th ray. So, obviously, Master Jesus is not in a centre of a city, for example, but is in the Christian church.
Yes, and he's located outside of Rome, isn't he?
He's trying to revive the Christian church. Good luck there.
Yes, I was just about to say, I'm glad he's doing that, not me. That's a big job.
And then the English master is the one who sort of started the labour movement around the world, and is also very much into politics and economics, influencing those. So they all have their particular roles, and of course DK, who we know is the educator. He went into educating humanity. So.
Yes,
and he also worked very closely with another initiate, a 3-degree initiate called Alice Bailey.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
And in the early 1900s, she wrote a library of 20, 30 volumes of books.
19 books, I think, he wrote, and then Alice Bailey did another 5 or 6, didn't she, by herself?
And they're called the Blue Books. They're all under dark blue,
And Alice Bailey was the 3rd-degree initiate. And it's interesting that Benjamin Krem was 3.5 as well.
3.3.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Emergence News. Well, Maitreya's message number 74 has generated quite a stimulating conversation. And to finish, you've got one more excerpt for us.
My work is to organise that plan in such a way that least cleavage results. Much that is loved must go. Cling not to the old forms. Much will depend on man's ability to renounce these outworn structures and to create a new and simple world. My coming brings peace, likewise my presence brings cleavage. My sword, that love which I am, will clear the way for the new light which I bring. May it be that you can withstand this change and accept my light.